us tonight. Again, I know you guys are all probably going to leave now, but hopefully she will join us this weekend. She's been working a lot of days in a row, and I can't say that I blame her. And I don't ever want this to turn into a job or anything for her. Keep her enjoying it. Um, Gotta find this thing. Give me 1 second if all you guys are watching me sit here and be a fool. Here it is. Dang. What's up, Talica? Brandon, Kentucky, Floydian. What's up, bud? The Wallaby, Fiend. Oh man, I turned this down. Sorry, guys. Ooh, here we go. Let's see. How does the visuals look? What do we got going on? Not too bad, I guess. Could raise it up a little bit. Maybe turn it a little bit. How are you guys doing tonight? Oh man, I got this cool video I'm doing. I've been recording. I only did 1 day of it, so it's gonna actually be a day of like my knife, and I'm gonna have the camera basically like follow my knife around for 1 day and record everything it does. I think that'll be so cool. And then I think I might throw in some voices and stuff. We'll see how it goes, but I think it's gonna be a pretty cool video. So if you guys see that pop up in the next week, it's gonna take me a bit to edit it. I already got most of everything recorded. Sorry, my hat's bothering me. What's up, Ian? Joe, Nathan, Bond or Down Bond. That sounds like a unique and cool idea. I know. I was thinking about it like from like a knife's perspective, like what it does all day, and then I kind of thought about it like in a way like that it had a voice, and I don't know if I'm gonna add that in, but I just might, just for kicks. What's up, Andrew? It is a lot uglier than normal. I know it is. I know. Maybe this weekend it might brighten up though. Hey mom. What's up, Breeze? I am here and not from Texas. All right. Well, Pulseret. What's up, Pulseret? Hey, Aunt Dawn. Who else is in here? Tito. Sad day, selling the javelin. I saw you were saying that, like, when you were, like, deciding on that Instagram live stream. Yeah, I seen you debating. But, that's the way it goes, They come and go, and sometimes, it doesn't matter if, how much you love it, you got to enjoy it, right? Now, somebody else can get to enjoy it, and another piece can move in. Because sometimes it does take, like you having to sell pieces or, switch it around. And that's the whole thing is to experience, I guess, as much as you can and find those little gems and hang on to them for a while and then get another gem. Let somebody else experience that one. And if you find that one that's just like, yeah, I'm never going to sell it. You know it. You're not gonna, and unless if somebody offers you something that you can't refuse, in that case. Where's Amy at? I didn't see her in here. I don't see Amy in here. No, I don't see her in here yet. She might join in a little bit. Such is the cycle of buying and selling. Can't keep everything. I like experiencing as much as I can to hone in on my preferences. And that does, make a good point, because you can like something a lot and not realize how much you'll like something else if you don't give it a chance. And, if you're hanging on to something when you could get something else. And it is good to experience as much as possible, because there are some pieces out there that I never, ever would have thought that I would like. And then when it boiled down to it, it wound up being something like that I really, really liked, even more than other things that I never would have thought. And your taste changes. I almost did a video about that one time, on talking about like I don't know about the evolution, but like kind of like the evolution of you and knives. Like as time goes on, It's like little things you start liking more. Like maybe when you first got into knives, you liked flippers, and then as time went on, you started liking thumb studs. And then maybe you really liked the bearing action, but then now you're starting to like phosphor bronze or Teflon, like stuff like that. And then, maybe the looks of things. Like I know a few years ago, the look of a knife, like the way it looked, is completely different than what I look for now. Like some knives, like kind of like, okay, like the zero tolerance 0450. I thought that knife looked so awesome. Now, if I see it, I still think it's a good looking knife. But there's things I can pick up when I look at that knife that I would pick up today that I couldn't a few years ago, like the blade geometry, the way it's ground, how it doesn't really have a tall grind. So I know right there it's probably not going to be a good slicer without it having, a thin blade stock and, a really thin edge. And just little details like that. And then like the way the handle is, it's probably not going to have the best ergos because it's not really that big. It's, the 0450 is not big. It's a small knife. So, but little details like that. And then now I find myself looking at a blade that has, a lot better slicing capabilities to it. Maybe a taller grind. And if it is going to be a short grind like that and small like that, make it a hollow grind, like just little details like that. And even like the looks of it. I still love the drop point blade shape and stuff like that. What's up, Scott? Um, I was gonna tell everybody that after everybody got in here that you thanked them for last week, or it wasn't even a week ago. It was only a few days ago. The live for donating. Thanks for coming in here. There was a time when a Smith& Wesson knife from AutoZone was my best knife. Hey, me too, man. Me too. I used to go and I used to buy one of those like once a week. And not that it was my best knife, but it was like my best work knife. Like I had a knife collection, mostly of fixed blades and stuff, but like for just like a pocket knife, like my work knife, I would go and buy one of those because they really at the time, I think they're like 12 bucks, 12, 13 bucks. They're pretty good quality, for the time, especially when if you don't know about the knife community and all the big dogs of the knives, all the more expensive knives, and you couldn't fathom paying that much money for a knife anyway. So it's not like that was on the table. It's not like somebody could sell you a $200 knife and you would jump on it. So $12 for that type of quality sounded great, and they weren't that bad. And I used to go around, and that was my work knife, and they wouldn't last very long, within a week I'd either lose it, break it, or something. Some of them I hung on to for a little while, but it seemed like after a few weeks, after maybe a month or two, they started getting unreliable. So my buddy got a Smith& Wesson knife from a buddy for being a groomsman at a wedding, and he was so impressed with it at the time. Yeah, it's when you don't know, it's easy to look at that. And same thing with me. Like I remember, I always used to get people knives like for their birthdays and stuff like that. And I remember going into Ace Hardware and having my buddy for his birthday. I think it was his birthday. I used to get everybody knives all the time. And I told him to pick out whatever knife he wanted in the case. And there was a knife, it was like 60 bucks. But to me, $60 knife, that was a damn good knife. Looking back now, knowing what I know now, that steel probably wasn't worth 60 bucks. Like nothing was probably worth 60 bucks about it. He had it for a long time. He wound up snapping the tip off of it and then regrinding it. And so he had it for a long time. He definitely got $60 worth of work out of it. But, in retrospect, what I could get for 60 bucks now would blow that thing out of the water. I would never buy another knife from a place like that. The tax that they add on top of it, not saying I wouldn't buy from like a knife shop or something, that charges more. Like I even got my Griptilian from Colorado, and I was happy to pay the extra money because we were backing a company, that sold knives in Colorado, that that they were a knife salesman, but it was backing a USA company, and we didn't mind paying the extra money because we knew it was going to good people and stuff like that. I used to drool at the big five sporting goods case. They were all partially serrated and complete junk. Yeah, you know what's funny is that I could still go into, like, say, I don't know, like a smoke shop or something, right? Like, you know how they have, like, I don't know if they're were, what you guys have around you, but like here, like smoke shops, quickie marts, gas stations, especially like gas stations in the hood and stuff like that. They have the the most what people call mall knives, right? They have tons of them, and some of them actually have a huge selection of pocket knives, and they're like the real Chinese knives, not like this kind of Chinese knife, or like a real Chinese knife, like M-Tex and stuff like that. I'll still, like, if I see it, I'll still look around. I'll still look at them, even if it's just to laugh at them, and make fun of it. Sometimes I'll even ask the guy behind the counter, and I think it's so funny when they're talking to you and they're trying to convince you. Yeah, Frost Cutlery, that's another one. I actually had some Frost Cutleries back in the day. But they're trying to convince you, how good it is, and how good the steel is and stuff like that. I think that's hilarious, and I'll never break it to them. Like, not saying I'm anybody, but like that I know more than them about. It's like I know more than you, man. I know more than you about these knives. Trust me. I'm never gonna say it, so I'll just let them, think they're gonna sell it to me. And if they do a damn good job, there might be a kid around that. Probably not, because for the same money, I get a way better quality knife for a kid in the family. But maybe if it's not too bad of a knife, I'd buy it for, like, a kid in the family. I usually get the kids' knives in the family. At least I try to. Hey, sorry I'm late. Was watching Misery. It's a good one. Good movie. Old movie, but definitely a good one. There are some hilarious M-Techs at gun shows. You have to look at them. I bet there is. I've been to like some gun shows in the past and seen stuff like that. But here, man, it seems like you can, like, the gas stations, the corner stores, the quickie marts, the smoke shops, places like that, they all have them. And I remember seeing, I think it was down by my mom. She's got like a smoke shop near her. And they have a whole glass case, and I mean a lot. Like, there's hundreds of knives, and they're all, like the cheap Chinese budget brands. But there was a couple in there, probably made by M-Tech, but they weren't like M-Tech. So I was curious because I was like, I never heard of this brand, so I don't want to automatically cut them off, even though I already know that they're bad. But so I checked them out, and there were a couple they really, I mean, they were bad, but they weren't, as bad as normal. Because sometimes some of those can slightly impress you. I remember, I think it was last year, M-Tech. I don't remember what they were doing, but they were doing something that was a little bit better than the normal. I don't know if you guys seen it, but like Ganzo, which Ganzo's good quality Chinese knives, first of all. They're very cheap though, money wise. For 20 bucks, you can get a good knife from them, a reliable good knife. But they just made a titanium model for like 140, 150, I don't know how much it is. But they just made a titanium model. Um, guns and that's true. There definitely focuses on the guns, not the knives. Sometimes they have some good knife companies there though, like Tops, or at least they're selling some good brands at gun shops. Sometimes flea markets. Flea markets are good for, like, I guess it depends, but like thrift stores, they're good for sharpening stones and stuff like that. Near us, I mean, it's not like right here, but not too far away off the highway, there's this thing called 7 Mile Fair. I know my cousin Breeze knows what I'm talking about. And it's just a huge flea market, basically. And they sell everything you can imagine. There ain't nothing they don't have there. And it's just a bunch of booths. Kind of like going to a knife shop, or, sorry, a knife, like a knife show or a gun show, kind of like that, but just a giant flea market. So there's all these tables, and you can rent a booth or rent a table and sell whatever you want there. And you'll find tables that are just selling like those type of knives or like the frost cutlery. But sometimes you find some cool tables there that actually have some cool stuff. A lot of times they're probably knockoffs, but not saying like for knives, but like for other stuff. Like sometimes they have some pretty cool stuff. Read aloud, fool. Kara would be pissed. I'm sure she can hear me. My gun shop has the best knife selection in the state. Benchmade, Spyderco, Microtech, and ZT. That's awesome. Here, I guess locally, the knife shop kind of sucks, but it's a knife shop still. Like we have like the Bass Pro Shop where they actually have knives, but they're just so overpriced. Like there's no way I'd pay them. Like it's not like a local knife shop where I want them to take my money and give them an extra $20 for selling me a knife. Like they'll sell you like a Benchmade grip Tillian that should be like $120. They'll sell it to you for like $160. Fuck that. The cheapest knives I had when I was younger were usually Kershaw. My very first knife was a titanium handled Benchmade Balisong in 154 cm. Haha, now you couldn't pay me to carry a Balisong. I have a Benchmade Balisong actually. I have the Morpho 51. But I have a couple Balisongs. But I used to love Kershaw. Kershaw was a brand that this is what happened was that I would see them in my gun books, gun magazines. I'd see them in my gun magazines, and then Walmart picked them up, and Walmart started selling them. But before that, this was a long time ago. Before that, Walmart only sold Gerber's, SOGs, and CRKT. Maybe I don't even know if CRKT was there yet, but all like basically crap knives. But I guess when I was that young, I really didn't know. But then Kershaw was selling knives that were a little bit more money. So if you were used to seeing a $10 knife and then you see a $40, $50 knife, in your head you're like, that knife's better. Like it just has to be better because it's more money, right? Logical thinking. But I wound up buying one that was like $65 from Walmart, and it was a Kershaw. And at the time, it was the best folder I had ever had. It was assisted, but I remember, I think it was 14C28N. I don't remember the steel very, very much, but I know though that it kept an edge for way longer than any of my other pocket knives before that had. I had a lot of expensive fixed blades, but I didn't have a lot of great folders at that time. What's up, Danny? And Lindy Lou's in the house. Yeah, I got lucky. They only got into it maybe a year or two ago. They used to carry big box stuff like Kershaw and CRKT, but I can't. I wish I could remember that one because I went through a whole bunch of Kershaws in like I don't know, maybe a year or something, maybe 2 years. But I was working construction, so I was either one breaking my knives or losing them constantly. But there was this one I found, and I loved it. I loved it. I still remember it was a Warncliffe versus Sheepsfoot, whichever you want to call it, and it was a hollow ground blade, super thin, and it sliced like a beast, and I loved it. It was such a good knife. I wound up rebuying it 3 or 4 times after I lost because I lost it. I got one stolen on the job, and I just kept buying it, and then they switched it and this was at Walmart. They switched it to a knife that was it was like maybe the part two version or something. I don't fucking know. But it looked a lot like it and it was very similar, but it wasn't the same. And I didn't like it as much, but I wound up having to buy that one. Anyone got a kite fin they want to part with? I just got a kite fin, but I can't part with it. One, it was a gift, but two, I haven't even gotten to experience it yet. But it's pretty awesome, man. It's pretty awesome. I'll tell you that much. It is very cool. Let me see if I can't grab it. Right here. Bang! Had it in a knife pack. But super thin. This thing is very thin, and not just the edge, the blade itself. The blade itself is super thin. I don't know how thick it is, but it's got to be thinner than a, I don't know. It might be a thickness of a bug out, maybe a little thinner. The chaparral is a little thinner, but the behind the edge thickness, super thin. You know what? Let's just measure behind the edge thickness right here. Let's do it right now. I still got to review it, so hopefully you guys don't come to my reviews just for the behind the edge thickness. It is, oh, come on. Okay, it's under 15 thousandths. It is, it's about 13 thousandths behind the edge. 12, 13 thousandths behind the edge. Looks like more like 13, but that's thin. But not just that though, the blade stock is very thin too. I'm noticing one tiny issue. I'm hoping doesn't lead to a bigger issue. I'm going to talk about it in the review because I don't want to just say it right now and then it just go away and everybody get the wrong impression. So wait for the review and I'll let you guys know. Oh, I just got acquired. If I missed anybody's comments, just make the comment again. Oh, nice. Well, good luck to you. Oh, you're talking to somebody. Well, maybe I'll just back up to the comments. They do really good oscillate steel. I used to strap the back for months, rarely sharpening. To this day, I can appreciate budget steels done right. That is such a good statement. A budget steel done right. Appreciating it because that's the beauty in a budget steel that's done right is that you can keep it going. So it's like, say M390 or whatever super steel you want to think of. Yeah, the edge retention will last longer, but when you have to hone it or strop it or whatever, you're not always, but a lot of the times you're gonna have to resharpen it because it's not just gonna hone right back or strop right back. Now the budget knife that's done right, you can strop and hone back for a long time. Like that knife that that Mike Emler sent to me, that new steel that Artisan's doing, that AAR RPM9. I couldn't believe how good that thing honed back up and stropped back up. I used it until it felt very dull. And this is the thing, is that when he sent it to me, he had already been using it. And I watched him in a video, he hammered a piece of copper. And so when I got it, it had a little chip in it. I didn't think I'd be able to get that out. I honed it out with just a couple swipes on not a ceramic rod. It was on the ceramic plate. But hey, Zach, thanks, bud. I honed it back flat though, so just I didn't take any steel off or anything. Quick hello to everyone. Have a night meeting to get to. Thanks, Zach. I appreciate it, bud. Yeah, Zach has had some really cool sharpening stuff on his channel lately. And I got this stuff from Worksharp sent to me that I'm going to be reviewing soon. I've been testing it out and I'm going to do the full review on it. I'm going to do 2 videos back to back. But I didn't even know about the the tri-stone that Worksharp has that you can flip. And then also there was another one, a whetstone setup. That is so badass. I might get it just to test it out to do a review on it. I just bought 3 TwoSuns and 14 C28M because folks in the live said to try it out. That is awesome because they are good knives and you're going to see. Put it this way, I've gotten comments left and right from people that, I don't know if they were sick of seeing it, but they had seen everybody, not just me, a lot of people rave about TwoSuns and they said, you know what, screw it, I'm just going to get one. And I've gotten comment after comment like, thank you, I love this thing is amazing. One even said that he has knives that are very expensive, like way, way more expensive. And he says it's still like in his top 10 of his knife collection. He says he has 90 plus knives, and he said some of which are very expensive, like Riats, I forget all the knives. He said like Hinders and stuff like that. All those awesome knives, and he said that it's still in his top 10. So that says a lot. It's a big statement. If Jared ever said Neeves Knives is now sponsored, probably, maybe not, because I don't think they would, but I wish. Yeah, this whole time I was just sponsored by them. What's this TwoSun you speak of? A lot of different TwoSuns, but I can show you some right now. So I got two great ones just sitting right next to me. The TS129, amazing. This is such a good TwoSun. Even, put it this way, even Stasa23 was raving about this one because it's so good. The Mazwan Mokhtar TS195 Integral. This one doesn't have the blade geometry like this one, but it's still good. Like, this is still really good. It's thin behind the edge. It just gets thicker a little quicker than some of their new TwoSuns, but it's still a good slicer. I mean, I'm not saying it's like really thick or anything like that, so don't take it that way. It's just that TwoSun has been doing some of the best flat ground blade geometry I've seen by anybody. The TS261 is a new favorite by far. Everybody go check out Hawaiian Knifing Gear. He's got way more TwoSuns than I have, like by far. A lot of my TwoSuns I don't even have here right now because I let people check them out. But what I was saying is that, and definitely go check Hawaii Knifing Gear's channel out because he's got some amazing TwoSuns and he always has new ones. But some of their flat grinds, like this one, I think this one was like 12 thousandths behind the edge. I mean, this thing is a crazy good slicer, and it's a flat grind, but it doesn't get like thick really quick. It slowly tapers, so this thing cuts like a beast. Now this one, I think this one was like I think it was like 15 thousandths behind the edge, but it's not such a slow taper because they start basically right here where the fuller is. So it's not going to have as good as blade geometry as some of the other ones, but it's still great. But it's an integral. It carries great. The build quality of this thing is so good. The front flipping action is just amazing. The detent on this thing is so good. This is one of my favorite ones. One, because it's an integral, but two, just you can feel the build quality. Another really good one is, do I have it up here? I thought I had one right here. Oh yeah, this one's pretty good too. One of the newer ones I have, but what else? The TwoSun TS223, that's a really good one. The 177 is a really good one. What is the steel on the TS261? Hawaii, what's the steel in the TS261? I think Hawaii Knifing Gear is actually TwoSun. That would be hilarious, right? He probably is. That's probably who's mailing us our TwoSuns when we order them. My TwoSun dealer has been uncooperative lately. Well, check this out. And, well, I'm just going to say it. So, Lavender Pants 86 got screwed over. And man, it was for such a good one, too. I wanted to check it out so bad. But he got one, and he bought it, whatever. It was supposed to be on the way, and it took a long time. Well, then when he contacted them, it had been way too long, and I don't know if they said that it got delivered or whatever. I forget what they said, but they wound up giving him his money right back. So, which is good. That's good news that, I mean, it didn't show up. That sucks, but the fact that they just gave his money right back without no arguing was a good thing. That's 110. That's awesome. Yeah, TwoSun is doing S110V now, which is really cool. I have no idea how good it is. I haven't tried it, but I have tried S110V before. The only problem I find with S110V is, and it might be just me too, but you want to make sure that what you're doing with your knife is cutting, like, I know that's what you're supposed to do with your knife, but what I mean is like not hitting staples and not hitting stuff that could chip your edge, because it can chip. But for the most part, I think most of us in the community, we know what we're cutting when we're cutting, and we know how to use our knives, properly. I can only imagine me now handing me a knife 10 years ago, 15 years ago, like me saying, hey, can I use your knife? It'd be scary handing me that knife. I'd fuck that thing all up. My most recent one took 3 weeks from when I got paid for it until I got my friend's place. What? My most recent one took 3 weeks from when I paid for it until it got to my friend's place in California. And that's usually what it takes for me. The shortest time I ever waited was 1 week, which was crazy. But it came from California, so I don't know how that worked out. But it came from TwoSun, a brand new knife, but it was shipped from California. But normally I only wait 2-3 weeks. A month was the longest I've ever waited. And I don't mean to say that for people to get sucked in and then wind up having to wait longer. I'm guessing, like, if it's a brand spanking new model and a lot of people are buying it, then that might be the time when you might have to wait a little longer. Maybe a month and a week, or maybe a month and 2 weeks. I don't know. I've never had to wait that long, even on brand new stuff, so. But I've heard people say that they've waited, like, because they give you a range between 1 month and 2 months. I've never waited that long. They've said between a month and 2 months, and I've got it in a week. So the most common time is 2 to 3 weeks. That's the most common. And I've bought, I don't know, 10 of them or more. I mean, I know I've bought probably more than 10 of them, so I don't know. Blade Ogre said, 3 weeks for me on eBay, but a few days from White Mountain Knives. Yeah, White Mountain Knives has got a whole bunch of them right now, but they're selling out so quick. I went on there to check them out, and they went fast. They still have some, but they had a lot more a few days ago. They're going quick on there. I know people were contacting me. I think 2 people said they bought this one. The thing was that I had a which I'm not telling you to use my link, but I had a link for these two for the exact same price. So if they do sell out there, then check out the Amazon thing and see how long it says. If it says it takes like 3 days to ship, get it from there, because then if White Mountain Knives is sold out and you don't want to wait a month, you might not have to if you use the link, because the link isn't eBay, it's Amazon. So. And a lot of times when I find TwoSuns on Amazon, not every time, but a lot of times they're coming from the United States. Sometimes they're coming from China. I choose Jared. With what? Yep, they sell out very fast. I bought most of mine there. Yeah, they do sell out fast. And that's cool. Do you know what? That's so awesome that they are doing that, because they're the only damn company that's doing it. I don't know why on earth Blade HQ or other companies, maybe they just don't have enough to supply them. I don't know. But I'm guessing in the next year or so, more companies are going to start carrying them, because it would be stupid for them not to. The 129 is available on White Mountain Knives right now. Yes, for $130 in M390. Very good deal. Now, on eBay, you're going to have to wait a few weeks. You can get it for less than that. But that's what you're paying the extra money. You're not paying the extra money. You're saving the extra money to wait a little bit longer. $130 for this knife is phenomenal. I cannot express that enough. Can't express that enough. Just like this one, $150 for this. That's an insane deal. This thing being an integral, if this was by we or React, and if you felt it, you would feel it and feel like it's from React. It really feels so well built. It's just so damn solid. I mean, it's crazy the build quality of this thing. Even like the fitment of all the little parts is done so good. This one's really cool too. I'm not normally a buoy fan, but this one, the tip points down far enough. Like if it's scooped up, I wouldn't like it. Since it scoops down, I can use it. This is a good little knife, and this one's not very big. This one's definitely bigger, and the ergos on this one is really nice. My one complaint, or my biggest complaint, is this damn hole. I don't like it. But check this out. Wouldn't it be easy to make your own little plate to go there? I swear I'm going to buy some of my card soon and do my own scales. I'm going to do it. I've been talking about it for a while and I haven't done it. John Crane says he has 23 TwoSun so far. That is awesome. You feel like you chipped the edge? You might, it's kind of weird. So like the steel, so obviously there's, I don't even know how many steels. There's a lot of different steels out there. So like depending on what you're doing, you want to get a steel that fits your day to day. So if you chip an edge a lot, then you need a tough steel. You need a steel that's strong, something that can take a beating. So tool steels, those are usually pretty good. M4. There's a lot of steels, but then there's other steels that are going to be based more on cutting performance, edge retention, meaning they can cut a lot longer. So I know that sounds like the same thing, and a lot of people take it as the same thing, but it's not. Impact is different than cutting. So like, a steel that can cut for days might be able to cut for a long time without going dull and keep an edge. But if you knock it against something, the edge could chip. So you want to find the right steel for you, and then also stain resistance too. Depending on what you do, where you're at. I know you're in Wisconsin, but you want to be careful for rust with a lot of steels. Let me know if you want some custom work done. What kind of custom work? Just got the 136 and the 248. Man, the one I really want to check out is that one Lindy Lou has with the thumb studs. That's the one that the Lavender Pants had coming in the mail, and that they lost or whatever. Stain resistance is overlooked a lot of the time. It's important to me because I use it in place of kitchen knives a lot. Then it's definitely important to you, and it's important to me too. Not because to be honest, I don't really worry about rust too much, but this is where I worry about it. Is that like, say it works, sometimes I get chemicals on some of the steels. Now, and then sometimes like I put a knife away. What's worse than putting a knife away because you're using another knife for a month or so and then coming back and it's got pits on it? That sucks. Like, and I've seen that happen to S35VN. I've had it happen to a bunch of steels. I usually can take care of it pretty easily, but I love the reassurance of knowing it's not going to rust. Like M390 and 20CV will last far longer than S35VN with rust resistance. Just like N690 or LC200N. LC200N will last forever. I use EDCI to help with rust, and I live in Kentucky. Is that no, not Kentucky? What? I just got a package from you too. Connecticut, right? Yeah, Connecticut. I use 3-in-1. It's for rust prevention. It's a cleaner. Was it a cleaner? A rust remover and a rust preventer. And I just rub it on there. I let it sit for like 3 to 5 minutes, and then I wipe it off. And it usually works good, but that doesn't mean like that I'm walking around. I usually try to do my knives once every couple months. But sometimes you're going to get a knife you used a little bit, and then you put away, and you cleaned off, but you put away, but then you don't take it out for a while. Or maybe you cut something and didn't clean it right away. You put it away. Then you come back a month later and you got little rust spots on it. You know what gets it the worst is knives with bead blast. So, the finish, it almost looks gray on the blade. It's not a stone wash, a bead blast. That I noticed is the scariest. At least to me, I've noticed. I don't know about you guys. D2 does that to me more than others. I have to oil them before putting them back in rolls. Yeah, D2 you want to be careful because it's not quite a stainless. It's almost a stainless, but not quite a stainless. I've never really had too many issues with D2. Maybe a couple times. But I also take good care of it because of that reason. I try to take care of all my knives. But it does happen. Sometimes, shit happens. 440A is dumped on for being low quality steel, but that stuff is very stain resistant. Yeah, and just like we were just saying, some of the budget knives are amazing because of their stropping quality, their honing them back quality, stain resistance. But there are some really good stain resistant super steels also. I like most steels. There's only a few steels I really just don't like. Flitz polish. I need to pick up some EDCI. Worst case, I just use mineral oil. Works just fine. Yeah, like I need to pick up some EDCI too. But that 3-in-1 oil, man, it's like $3, $5 maybe. Yeah, $3 to $5, and it lasts a long time. But the EDCI is nice because you can spray it. The stuff I'm talking about, you have to drip on it and wipe on it. The EDCI is cool because you can just spray it on and wipe it off. Floridian says he'll send you some. Lindy, Vortex was a really nice one. Yeah, Floridian's a good dude. He'll take care of you. He's a really good dude. Yeah, I got other, I have different kinds of oils, and I use them all for, different purposes. I even picked up, check this out, I picked up, what the hell's the name of it? I forget the name of it, but it has a needle tip on it. A lot like, KPL, but it's not KPL. And it's a dry lube. That's what it is. It's a dry oil. So I thought it would be good for phosphor bronze and Teflon washers, right? Well, I tried using it on Teflon and phosphor bronze, and it made them worse. It made them so much worse. And then if I let it sit, it's like it gets sticky or something on the inside of there. I don't know. I don't like it. So now what I use it for, this is what's weird too, is the pivot will feel a little sticky, but if I put it on a blade or something, it doesn't get like that. So I'm not saying it gets actually sticky. I just mean the action in the knife starts feeling a little sticky, not really smooth like it should. But if I put KPL on it after, it's really smooth. KPL, I love KPL. So now I just use that oil for other stuff, door jams. I might sometimes take a knife and drip a couple drops on there just to, as a rust prevention or something. But I don't use it in pivots no more. Tried to buy EDCI to keep it going, but he wanted too much money for the formula. Yeah, people say that stuff's expensive. I don't have any. I've never bought that stuff. I don't mind the 3-in-1. The 3-in-1 works fantastic, and that's what it's for. But just like KPL, I used to say the same thing about the oil for my knives. I would just use gun oil or 3-in-1 or whatever for my pivots. Then after I tried KPL, I was like, oh no, I'm always gonna get KPL. And it lasts a long time. I use it a lot. I still have a half a bottle, and I've had it for I don't know, almost 2 years now or something. Maybe not quite 2 years, but I've had it over a year. And it's still a half a bottle. And they're not big bottles, they're just little bottles. 42 people in here. Y'all need to like this damn video. Thanks, Trey. I appreciate that. Someone told me that they weren't getting the notifications. I told them to go back in and make sure the bell was hit because I know sometimes on my end, like I've noticed even some of the other knife channels, I'll go and find them and I'll notice I'm not even subscribed to them anymore. And I'm like, what? Like, I don't know if YouTube does that or if I accidentally did it or something, but crazy. And then sometimes the bell won't be hit anymore. I know sometimes that can happen where you accidentally turn off the bell, but it's weird when you're unsubscribed to a channel that you know you've been subscribed to. Love the smell of KPL in the mornings. Yeah, that's another thing is the smell. So a lot of oils have that oil smell. KPL has a little bit of a sweeter smell. It doesn't smell like oil. So that is a good thing too because after you oil your knife, you don't need everything to smell like oil. Your hands, your pockets, what you just cut. My bell is on. YouTube, don't tell me nothing. Coconut oil. I've never used that. I've heard of people using, different types of food oils. What was I? I was looking something up the other day. Oh, I was looking. I know this sounds stupid, so don't laugh because it ain't funny. I was looking up if butter prevents rust. I don't know if it does. I never got a clear answer. If butter prevents rust. I'm sure mineral oil, obviously, probably vegetable oil, that probably does, but I don't know about butter. Remington oil or fishing reel oil is good. Yes, fishing reel oil is really good. I used to have lots of Remington oil and stuff, and that's the stuff I used to use on pivots, but the KPL, man, it just works so much better. Plus, it's made specifically for that. Just like anything that's specifically made for something, it's probably going to be a little bit better than, things that are made for a variety of things. Any tips on new knife review channels like me? Um, yeah, just stay authentic, man. Stay authentic. Do not, do not follow trends. Like, what do I mean? So it's easy to get sucked into somebody else's opinion. So, like, say if I review this knife and I'm raving about it and I like it and I love it, if you check it out and you don't like it because 10 other channels like it. Don't do that because you'll find that there's a lot more people that side with you, maybe that don't. It doesn't matter. People will respect the authenticity of you rather than just following a trend. And I find that a lot. Like I had somebody not arguing with me, but talking to me the other day. And they were telling me information as if I'm just supposed to agree with it. When that's not, that's not the results I got. That's not what I found, so I'm not it's like you can spit a bunch of other channels names at me and tell me that's what they found or whatever, but that doesn't mean that that's what I found or decided or whatever. So I'm not just gonna agree with the channel just because they said it. It doesn't matter. Like I can only tell you my own experience, right? So, but a lot of channels I'm sure do that. They won't tell you their own perspective. They'll tell you somebody else's, and that can possibly lead to catastrophe, right? Like so, if one channel says it and then five other channels are saying the same thing they said, and I'm not saying that they're lying or anything like that because most likely they're not, but then somebody else winds up finding something else completely out, but now you have five channels saying the same thing. So can it even be true? Like, I hate to think like that. So, but I'm not going to just overlook my own perspective because somebody else has a perspective that's different. Like, or maybe even different results or whatever. Just be honest and have fun. That's another thing. Have fun. Don't let people get to you, because you will get some haters in the comments. Just love them. Love it. Hey, Ian. Thanks, bud. Thanks again for the Pro Tech I won in the Patreon giveaway. I love that thing. That's a damn good knife, ain't it? Thanks, Ian. Yeah, that's a good knife. And the ergos, for being such a little knife, man, because you got that finger choil, I guess this is a good representation, because you got that finger choil, you can really get up nice and tight to that blade. I did not realize I was going to like that knife as much as I did before I got it. That is a damn good knife. Now, the bigger ones, so I haven't done the review yet on this one or this one, but I've found that some of them, and I've tried two customs, okay? The customs, the ergos, were fantastic. But then this one's a little different to me. This one's nice because it's a little smaller, but this little swell back here. But now on the PT, since it's small, it just works. It works really good in the hand. I agree. A marvel of precision. One of the... Wait, I agree. A marvel of precision. One of my first. I got the D2 116 to go with it. Can I give you my Kaiser Justice? Because I don't trust taking apart and reassemble. Yeah, I don't care. What's the problem with it? Can I give you my Kaiser Justice? Because I don't trust taking apart and reassemble. You know what? If you're gonna be a knife channel, you got to get used to taking knives apart, because you're gonna run into that a lot. And do it with a knife that has a reputation for being easy to take apart and put back together. Like, I'm not trying to shout out TwoSun again, but TwoSuns are the easiest knives to take apart and put back together. They just are. I could take one apart right now and put it back together in probably a minute and a half, if that, without a problem. Like, they're just so easy to take apart and put back together. But find a knife. Like, don't do a Kershaw, because a lot of Kershaws have red Loctite. Some Spydercos have red Loctite. Just be careful with the company you do it with. Some Spydercos are good, some aren't. But find one that's easy to take apart and put back together, and do it and practice it, because you're going to have to get used to it. But I'll check it out, though, if you want me to. I'll take it apart and put it back together for you. I like when a reviewer's honest and says how the knife feels, something we can't get from statistics. Hey, gamer, thank you. Came to see the TwoSun TS129. One day I'll get one. We were just talking about this thing, talking about how people are buying them from White Mountain Knives right now. And I got some in the links for $130 for the M390 version. It's a damn good knife. Nice sheep. I call it the drop foot blade shape. Super thin behind the edge. Man, it's a good slicer. And I have found nothing wrong with this M390. Now, I haven't hard tested it, but I personally haven't found anything wrong with this one. Nor this one. But, like I said, I haven't really tested it like that, though. And thank you, Williams. He says, I like when a reviewer's honest and says how the knife feels, something we can't get from statistics. Yeah, you know, and even some statistics can be wrong. There's a lot of variables, right? Just like context matters. So one of the discussions I was having with somebody the other day, man, this micarta is so beautiful. This burlap micarta. But one of the discussions I was having with somebody the other day was about cut tests, and cut tests, and some of the things that I said with what I found. And I had to say, I don't do like when I say cut tests, I don't do cut tests like Outpost 76. If you want results on cardboard, go to them. If you want rope cutting results, go to Pete from Cedric and Ada, because I don't do cut tests like that. I do working tests. Like, I don't count my cuts. I don't do anything, but I'm not stupid either, right? I'm not a fucking dumbass. Like, I know how much I've used my knife. Maybe not down to the cut, but I don't just cut one thing. I do it like from an EDC standard. So when I say to somebody, like, like cutting results like from my EDC use, right? That doesn't mean I only cut paper. That means like, okay, put it this way, watch my video when I do put it up of in the day of a knife. You're gonna see how many different materials I cut in a day. So that's like where my perspective comes from, is from cutting multiple different things, not just one thing. Because to me, I'm never gonna have a pocket. Sorry guys, I don't know what happened. I was trying to ask you guys if it was buffering, but nobody was answering, so I figured something was wrong. Sorry about that. But I'm never just gonna cut one specific thing all day. I'm gonna cut multiple things like people would do with the EDC, or like what I do with my EDC. Now I highly respect those guys that do cut tests, 100%, and I agree times a million that they are way more controlled and are going to have way better results than I could ever have, because mine aren't controlled. And I'm not really doing cut tests either. I'm just giving you my perspective. So if I say cut with certain a knife for a day and brought it to work, and I sharpened it and I said the edge retention seems pretty good or not or whatever, I'm getting it from a perspective of I've done this a million times and I've seen blades crap out or need to be resharpened or chip or whatever, and this one didn't, or stuff like that. Because like there's certain things that I do all day that I've used with knives and different steels 1,000 times. So I know, and also this is another thing, is that some of the things I do go on a pallet. So it's the same amount of cuts. So I guess in that sense you could say it's controlled, but not really though, because I'm also cutting other stuff. It's not that I'm only cutting, say, to put these things on this pallet. I'm also cutting other things at the same time. But I know how many cuts I did for that pallet. So I have a little bit of, something to my madness. But like I said, I'm not dumb. I know how hard I use a knife and how hard I didn't use it. And if I bring a knife home and it's dull, right, or chippy, or not that great, right? Not that sharp. Not as sharp as yesterday's knife or whatever when I did twice as much with another knife. I know that. It doesn't take me cutting the exact same thing 100 times to know that I didn't use it that much or that I did use it enough, whatever. You guys know what I'm saying. I've been using the new TwoSun 72 and M390. Don't start buffering. An M390 for a few weeks now, and it holds a great edge. It wasn't crazy sharp from the factory, but after I put an edge on it, it's held up awesome. Man, am I buffering? Okay. See, TwoSun's though edges normally are pretty good. Like the majority of TwoSun's I've gotten had very good edges on them. Like very, very good. A lot better than a lot of places. But yeah, you definitely want to sharpen a lot of companies' steels. And if you do, you don't want to get your opinion off of the factory edge. Especially like if you look at the edge like from the factory and you can kind of see like a whiteness to it or even a brownness to it, it's burnt. And I've gotten so many edges from like Spyderco, every company damn near, and had them chippy, a little bit chippy, or maybe the edge rolls a little bit. But then once I put a new edge on it, they're good. They hold up really good. I cut thick cardboard every day, but if I had to cut even strips and count them, I would turn the knife myself. Yeah. And like I said, I have so much respect for those guys because I know that shit. It takes some time, and then to record it and to jot down the Outpost 76. Look what he does. He'll do his cut test and then do a verification cut test. So he doesn't do it just once, he'll do it 2 or 3 times on the same knife. That is amazing. And we get some of the results we have, and we know our edge retention results and a lot of the information we have from those guys. Hats off to those guys. Those guys are amazing. I only had one TwoSun, the TS123, and it was a great edge out of the box. Much better than I was expecting. Yeah. They're surprisingly well done. In their grinds too, man. A majority of the ones that I've had have had like a perfect grind. And they're being done by a machine. You kind of expect it, right? They are being done by a CNC machine. Where is your beautiful wife? She is relaxing. She's worked many days in a row without a day off, and she worked today. So I'm not forcing. I don't want her to, get sick of being on here. I want her to come on here when she wants to, when she's enjoys it. I don't ever want her to think of it as a job, especially when she just got off of work and she's tired and she's had a crappy week. Man, these masks, man, I know you guys don't like it when I talk about the damn masks, but I'm about done with these damn masks, guys. And I feel so bad, like, for Kara having to wear them. Like, she gets so stressed out, and I can tell, like, who can stand that much? I don't know about you guys, but like, if you're working in a hot environment and you're sweating and everything, like, it's gonna clog your pores, it's gonna break you out, then you get stressed out. Then, like, breaking out, happens from stress also. And then you're frustrated, and then you get frustrated, now you're, like, claustrophobic because you're wearing it. And, like, I feel so bad for her because I don't have to wear one. So, when I'm at work, I don't have to wear one. So, but when I do have to wear one, I do refuse a lot, but not always. I wear them a lot. But I'm about sick of them, man. I'm about done with this shit. I really am. Like, at some point, it does start getting, pushy. It's pretty scary what people are willing to do, and I honestly don't feel like it's saving anybody's lives. I don't care what anybody says. I've heard too many damn doctors, talk about it and talk about how wearing the mask can hurt things more than it can help, because nobody's wearing a mask like you would at a doctor's office. You're not throwing away your mask right after you wear it. Like, as soon as you walk into the gas station, you put a brand new mask on with gloves on, put it on, go buy your thing. On the way out of the gas station, you take off your mask and then take off your gloves and sanitize your hands. Nobody's fucking doing that. That'd be the only way to make it work. People are taking it out of their back pocket after they farted on it, putting it on their fucking face. After they touch their face, they're going up to the cash register, touching everything around them. The guy behind the cash register just pulled up his mask, so now he just touched his fucking face. Then he touches your shit. Then he hands it back to you, and then you grab that, and then you just touched your face, so now you're going to walk out of the gas station, touch the door handle, walk out, and then take your mask off. So now you just rubbed his face on your face. Come on, man. Don't tell me fucking masks help anything. They really don't. I've worked in nursing homes. I understand how they work, and it's not how they work. Like I said before, if I went into a person's room that has MRSA or something, there's an order. I have to put on my gloves and mask and gown. An order. When I take them off, it has to come off in that order. Otherwise, it doesn't work. And you're trained that. So for 300 million people, or however many people there are, to walk around with masks, touching their face all day, not knowing how to wear them, it's scary. Not saying I'm scared, because I don't really give a fuck. But I'm just saying, like, it drives me nuts that people actually think in their head that this works. And then you look at other countries that are wearing masks, even outside, and they're still having the same issues, and still having spikes, and still having all this, even though they're wearing masks, and even outside, mandated. Like Italy, they're mandated to wear masks outside. And they're still having issues. It's because it doesn't fucking help. That's why. It doesn't. I mean, it doesn't even make sense that it would help. Yeah, I understand it's going to catch your spit and your snot, but you're touching it, right? It's like this. Think about it like this. If I put on a mask, say if I have COVID, right? If I have COVID and I put a mask on, does my mask have COVID now? Yeah, right? It does, right? Now, if I touch my mask, does my hand have COVID now? Yeah, right? Of course it would. And now I go touch you or your shit at the register. I grab it and ring it up and then hand it back to you. Come on. Only time I don't mind a mask is in a public bathroom. The only time I really don't mind it is my Ubers because I'm getting into their car. And I respect that I'm getting a ride in your car. I don't know your issues. I don't know your health issues. I wouldn't ask you your health issues. Sometimes I ask them, like, hey, do you want me to wear a mask? A lot of times they're like, man, I don't give a fuck. But other times they're like, yeah, and I don't argue with them, not one bit. It's their car. Now, other times, no, I don't like to. And I get pretty feisty sometimes. I'm just sick of it. I'm done, like, being pushed and made to seem like I'm wanting to kill people because I don't want to wear a fucking mask because I don't see it. This is another thing, right? Like, what if it was against my religion, right? A lot of things, a lot of damn things, which it's obviously not, but I'm just saying, like, there's so many fucking things that give you reasons why you shouldn't have to wear a mask, and I can go all the way back to your constitutional rights. Like, just because you're in fear doesn't mean I have to be. Or you don't get to decide whether or not I get sick or not, especially at my age. And if you have health risks and you're worried, then that is, I hate to say this, and I'm not trying to be a dick, but that's your problem. That's not my problem, right? Like, I can't go around and ask people to give blood test mandated for everybody who has HIV. Like, it's there's so many ways you could look at this. I know that was a little crazy right there, but you can take it left with anything. You can take it left with a cold. You can take it left with the flu, with pneumonia, with so many fucking things. But we don't, right? But then this we do. And I don't believe it's like they make it seem. I believe that this is a lot to do with fear mongering and just bullshit. I have only wore a mask twice since COVID started. Good for you. My hat goes off to you. How selfish? No, fuck that. I give you props. 90% of people have never washed their masks either. No, and the only thing that works by washing it is the washing machines that are inside of hospitals, because they are actually, like, your regular washing machine won't do it. Like, maybe if you have some super one. I'm not going to say nobody's will, but the majority of washer and dryers don't go to that temperature, right? So, like, hospitals do, though, because I think Trump, I think Trump did it. He made sure they all had that machine or whatever to wash the masks. But yeah, you're right. Nobody washes them. And then get this. And I said this shit way before, and some people were arguing with me, but they came out and said, like, the cloth masks or the bandanas and stuff like that they actually make it worse. I'm not saying the CDC or whatever said that you have to actually wear a medical mask, or like the other mask, that more powerful one, I forget what it's called, the H1 whatever mask. And then if you're going to wear like a fabric mask, it's got to be like tight knit fabric, double layered tight knit fabric. Nobody's doing that shit. Everybody's walking around with a bandana on, or their shirt cut in half and stupid shit like that, which they've said makes it worse. But I have to wear it because it makes you feel better. Like, think about the logic behind that. Really think about the logic. The CDC comes out and says that if I put a bandana on, it's actually can make it worse. That's the fucking CDC who says that. It can make it worse. But now if I walk into a building, it's mandatory that I wear that because you're scared, or whoever the fuck's scared. It's their mandate. But yet I'm making it worse by wearing it. Does that fucking make sense? Come on. And that's fucking pathetic. People are at each other's throats over this nonsense while politicians give 4.5 trillion to Wall Street. Here's to useful distractions. Exactly. And that's why I said, like, I feel like it's just fear mongering and propaganda. And 100% it is. It's, I mean, if you even just like watch the news, look how much they push it. It's all they fucking talk about. It's disgusting. They don't never try to give you hope. All they want to do, especially if you're like watching, like obviously leftist news, like all they do is either talk shit about Trump, how he's like basically, they make it sound like he created this damn virus. It's all his fault. Making it seem like he's fucking infected everybody. And all they want to talk about is how dangerous it is. They never want to talk about like the positives. Like I never heard one damn news site say how that the CDC came out and said only 6 people, or was it, no, sorry, 6 people, 6% of people died specifically from COVID. Why didn't the news come out and say that? Why wasn't that mainstream all over fucking everywhere? Should have been billboards. I mean, everywhere. It should have been everywhere that only 6% of all the deaths in the United States have died from COVID alone. And the other 94% died from 2.5 or more other significant health like things, like so heart attack, got hit by a car, fell from a plane, whatever, killed you. So, and then like, what was it? I think like almost 50% were in nursing homes. So you can imagine that. I think it was like 50 something percent or almost 50%. I forget the exact actual numbers, but it was close to that. Died in nursing homes. And then the other ones were with COVID, not of COVID. So that means if they died, they just had COVID. They didn't die because of COVID, they just had it. Whether it was a cause of their death, well, no, they had other significant health issues that caused their death. But 6% died just of COVID. So that should have been every fucking where, right? Everywhere. November 3rd is going to be the best day of this year. Yes, yes it will. If you die in a car accident and had a positive test, Rona test, they'll add you to the casualties. Yeah, and that actually adds to the 94%. The 94% are people like that. But you didn't hear nobody talking about that. Why? Why? The CDC said it, and then I don't know if you guys remember, if you guys were in my live, but I was talking about it 2-3 weeks before the CDC came out and said that. And not everybody, most people were like kind of agreeing with me, but I did have some people arguing with me about it. Because, and I got the information from doctors that work in it, like not from the news, not from the media, from doctors that have hundreds and hundreds of patients. And they were talking about it. So, I mean, it's not that I made it up and I was right because of that. I was saying their words. And then 2 weeks later, the CDC comes out and basically says the same shit I was saying 2 weeks before that. And then they were silenced. Can you imagine that, being a doctor and trying to get information out to the public because you work with the stuff and they take you down? They take you down. Why would the media be allowed to tell you things, but doctors that actually work with this shit and have patients and have the ability to prescribe medications to the people that are sick and have the ability to deal with the patients that are dying from it, but they don't let the information out, even though it's verifiable that they are doctors. And they come with, I'm going to say this again, I know you guys love when I say this, but they came with receipts. Dropping truth bombs. Thank you, Lindy. How many of you guys think we will see even more widespread and intense rioting when Trump is reelected? Can you imagine rioting because your candidate didn't win? I think, okay, so I who knows what's going to happen the day of, right? Most likely there's going to be some dumbass fucking riots. But I feel like within a week, everything's going to slowly start dwindling down. I'm hoping that that right after he wins, which he will win, right after he wins, I'm hoping like the mask mandates start going out the window. I'm hoping like he comes out, which I don't think he can do, but I'm hoping that he comes out and says like that it's a constant, it's against your constitutional rights, and that the governors can't force you to wear masks, and that nobody has to wear masks if they don't want to, which I already know kind of is a thing, but it doesn't matter if it's kind of a thing if they still won't let you in, which I know a lot of places they kind of have to, but they'll still argue and fight with you. I don't know. I hope stuff like that happens. I hope that just basically disappears. Obviously, the COVID's not going nowhere. We do have to learn to live with it, just like we've done with the flu, with chicken pox, with every fucking thing else in history. We've learned to get along with it. And I think they say that if you're under the age of 60, or no, sorry, I don't want to spit no false shit, but if you're under the age of 50, then COVID is no deadlier to you than, maybe I might be wrong about the number, maybe it's 40, no deadlier to you than the flu. So after I think the age of 40, I think it's 40. You can fact check me if you really want, but I think after the age of 40, then it becomes 2 times worse than the flu. But the thing is, though, is that, like, say if one person out of a thousand, let's just spit a number out there, dies, or 2 people out of 1,000 dies, it's not that much more infectious. Do you know what I mean? Or not that much more deadly. So if you have 1,000 cases and, or it's like 1 to 2. Like it's not like it's significantly more deadlier. It's just twice as much more deadly, which really isn't that deadly to begin with. Yeah, the flu sucks. It really does suck. Now, if you are old and you have health issues or prior health issues, or young and have health issues, yeah, that's different. I mean, of course, that goes across before fucking COVID-19. That was a thing. I don't know if you guys remember before COVID-19, all right? You guys remember that shit? Like, we've had to deal with this since, fucking being a little snot-nosed kid. You were taught about germs and about, being sick and being healthy and what happens if you're not healthy, and take care of grandma because grandma can get sick and die because she has diabetes or whatever. Come on. We've known this shit for a long time. Seems like everybody's waking up in 2020 and realizing shit. Hi, if you see this comment, what is the best budget knife for a 14-year-old? Ganzos. Look up Ganzos. Ganzos are a great budget knife for a 14-year-old. You can get them for under $20. Ganzo knives. Yeah, great knives. What's up, Lavender Pants? I've been talking about you this whole damn video. I almost called it a podcast. Compilations. Rat 2 is a solid choice size. Yeah, the Rat 2 is a good one too. That goes to Car. Man, my mom and grandma both have fibromyalgia, so I understand. Sorry to hear. I've known a couple people with fibromyalgia. Trump supporters around me are afraid to say so. So the good old silent majority. I'll say it right now. Trump 2020. Trump has more people who want him to win. Biden is betting that there's more people out there who hate Trump. Biden is not really likable. No, I think people are starting to wake up. I think in the beginning, I think so many people. Okay, this is my like thing. I think so many people were wanting to fight with people that supported Trump. And you don't have to be like a Republican to support Trump. There are plenty of liberals who support Trump, like tons of them. You don't have to be, like, you can even be like, say, what people would call like a center person, right? So you're not right, you're not left, you're fucking right down the center. That's kind of like how I am. So, and still support Trump. But I think so many people from the, I don't know if you call them the far left, call them whatever you want, wanted to argue with, say, a Trump supporter. So they started looking up information to argue with the Trump supporter and win an argument. And then they started finding out that everything they were saying was bullshit. Everything they heard on the news, everything they heard from whatever MSNBC or whatever they heard it from, or whatever, whoever they heard it from, they started finding out how it was bullshit and how everything they were saying was lies and that they were being, twisted and the facts weren't real. And then they started finding out the truth. And then they slowly but surely started liking Trump because they found out all this information they were fed to hate him was a lie. And when you realize that, you actually wake up and see the reality that, not just the news, YouTube channels, whatever, they have to push propaganda. They need clicks, they need views, they need this, they need that. That's why you have to look up verifiable information. Any channel you see that tells you something should give you the source of where it came from. If they're not giving you a source of where that information come from, and I don't mean just because it's written, like anybody can just, like, sometimes you'll see that, and that's how they trick you. They'll say something, and they'll say, oh, it's from whatever, and then you'll see it written on the side. That doesn't tell you where the information comes from. I want to know in 2019, say 1,000 22-year-olds did a test with this, and this was the results. They show graphs and show charts. Or 200 doctors did tests between this year and this year. Like stuff like that. Like you want verifiable information of tests and results. And any good reporter or say somebody who has a channel that wants you to know that they are spitting facts and that they don't lie, right? Like that they're not just trying to get your views, which they're trying to get your view, but you know what I mean. Like they're not trying to just spread propaganda. They'll actually give you where they get their information from. They'll give you the links, the sources, and they'll show it on the screen. And they'll tell you where they got the information from so that if you want to look more into it, you can. And when you see that stuff, it makes, that's usually a more reliable source. And you never see that on the news. Like they might tell you some word like, Washington Post said da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But where did Washington Post get it from? Like, that's where your next question should be. But when you start off like that, that's already deceiving because Washington Post, where'd they get it from? Out of their ass? Like, show where they got it from. Trump has more people. Oh, I heard that. Oh shit, I'm way back. My thing wasn't like refreshing. Sorry, guys. I know I'm late to the party, but where's Kara? Kara is resting. She's worked way too many days in a row, and she's not. She'll probably, hopefully, she'll be here this weekend. But yeah, she's worked a lot of days in a row. I'm not trying to force her to join, and wearing a mask all day and everything's really got her messed up. So, I'm leaving her alone. Anyways, going back to watching from the TV. Signing off on the chat, Jared. A sub sent me a Freeman review. That is awesome, Jeremy. The Freeman's a badass knife. I know you'll like that one. It's a little thick behind the edge, but it's a beast. It kind of reminds me of like a Hinder. But it's a button lock, obviously. Also, the ProTech Mordax. That's another one. It's a lot like the Mordax. That's even a better thing to compare it to. I liked it a lot, though. I tested one out. For that Russian nonsense, the press reports would always cite other press reports as their source. Right. It's all circular. Exactly. I couldn't have said it better. That's exactly what they do. And it's hilarious. Like, when you actually realize and know that stuff, it's entertaining. Especially when they tell you something. Like, this is my thing, is when I watch them, and I already know the story because I've already watched it, right? Like, whatever they're talking about. I've already seen it. I've already watched it for myself. And they're talking about something I've already seen with my own eyes. And I listen to them twist, prod, and deceive the story and the words that the person said. They'll literally take a sentence that was a joke or a sentence that was meant in one way and turn it. Like, there's so many ways you can do that, and that's what they do. And when I see that, it irritates me so much. But then now I find it hysterical. I'm learning to find entertainment value in it. Like, it's hilarious to me, and I think that's what the majority of America is doing now. I think we're gonna find out how many more people are waking up because we have the we can look shit up now. We have the sources at our fingertips. The problem is that they're trying to silence it. I'm sure you guys know about that shit. They're trying to silence a lot of truth that's out there by hiding it, and now they're starting to get in trouble for it. So I really hope they do get in trouble for it, and they're coming back with apologies saying that they shouldn't be doing that and they're supposed to be unbiased and blah blah blah, even though they literally did it on purpose. And that's just a fact. They're silencing shit on purpose, and it's come out now. So, and it's funny though when you try telling people and they're like, "No, it doesn't happen." It's like they admitted it. They admitted it. Come on now. Damn it! I come here to escape politics. I'm sorry, we're so close to the debate, Joshua. Hey man, I'm sorry. We were talking about knives in the beginning. If you want to rewind, we can talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. I'm just having a good time. Don't take it as like an angry thing. Like, let's laugh about it. I mean, it is only a couple days away from the damn the what the fuck's it called? The president, not debate. The election. I like Russian crash videos. Logical. I'm sure those are hilarious. You know what's funny? In Russia, they had to cars have to have the camera now because so many. I think it's insurance companies that make them do that because so many people were jumping in front of cars and then claiming. I don't think it was just that, but they were jumping in front of cars and claiming the car hit them. And then another thing was I think people were like running cars, like crashing cars on purpose, like their own car. Like I drive my car into a tree and then reporting it as a crash. And so now the insurance companies in Russia make them have a camera in their car. That's hilarious. Does anyone have an artisan wren? No, I do not. Oh, you were trolling Josh. See, now you got me off of fucking politics, and I was just starting to get pumped up. Matabai has been good on this. One of the few reporters to get Russia right, and it is another. There's a couple that are okay, but when it comes to the news, not much of them I trust. I rather, and I'm not saying I don't watch them because I do to listen to the bullshit and I laugh at it. But I usually, if there's something I don't know yet, I'll fact check it, but not with fact checker. Did you guys hear about that? That on Google, certain things that you've heard, say through the debate or through whatever, that when you type it in on Google, fact checkers pops up and tries to deceive you. And like that, it's so crazy, man. 2020 is so nuts. So like say this is just something for instance. So like Biden on banning fracking. They'll say the fact checkers will pop up and say it's mostly not true. Mostly not true. That doesn't even make sense. And then like another thing, what was it? Oh, Biden never said, like, if you look up, like, if Biden called, like, Trump a xenophobic, xenophobic or whatever, it says, no, he did not. Well, that's because he tweeted it. He didn't say it out of his mouth. He tweeted it. Other places and other things were saying it, like Pelosi and news organizations and shit. Everybody was saying it on the left. But no, I think it's crazy that you have to not believe fact checkers now. So actually fact check information yourself. It's really easy. You just look up the actual information. Look up the actual story. I like to watch some of the people I watch. I even watch some liberals, like really good liberals that are they're just they give you real information. They take pride in like say, okay, here's one, like Tim Pool. I don't know if you guys know who Tim Pool is. I like him because he he gives you verifiable information. He shows you where he gets the sources from. tells you where he gets his sources from. If they're not good sources, he tells you that also. And he used to work for news companies, and he used to be a journalist. He still is kind of a journalist, but he used to be a journalist for news things, and he quit because they were trying to make him lie. They were trying to get him to lie about some shit, and he was like, no, I won't do it. And he tried to quit, and they said, you can't quit because you signed a contract. So he had to stay with them for an entire year. And then on the last day, he said, fuck y'all, and walked out and started doing his own thing because he wasn't willing. He said he watched journalism basically do a backflip. It went from journalists actually looking for real information, trying to bring the American people the truth, to basically being very biased and only wanting to give information that they wanted you to have rather than what you should have. And I gotta respect that. I mean, that's a very respectable thing, to give information that might not help you or might make you look bad because it's the right thing to do. Who wants to buy an Umnumzun? I think those things are awesome. I haven't tried one of those yet. Any of you guys watch Jimmy Dore? I don't know who that is. I might. He's no, I don't. He's way far left, but honest and very entertaining. And that's the same thing with like Tim Pool. I don't know if I'd call him a leftist anymore. He was a far leftist, but he's definitely a liberal. He even calls himself a liberal, but he's got sense. He does vote for. He is voting for Trump. He didn't vote for Trump in 2016. I forget who he voted for. I think he voted whatever that's called, where you don't vote for the two main people. I forget what the hell that's called. Anyways, but if you listen to him and you watch his stories, he gets a lot of people on there, even people that he doesn't agree with on his podcast. A lot of times it's just him and his team doing the podcast. But you can tell when you watch his stories and you see how he presents the information to you, he presents it in a way for you to read it and look it up yourself. He doesn't just tell you information and then give you his opinion and expect you to believe it. He lets you in on where the information comes from. And I like that. I want to know that. Zines are so good. I don't know what. Oh, Zans. Them Amnam Zans. I like talking politics because a lot of people have stopped talking to each other because of how divisive it has become today. It hasn't always been like this. You know what? And that's why I'm starting to like to do it, because I didn't in the past. I didn't know enough, to be honest. I really didn't. Did not know enough. But I wanted to get informed, more informed. And so I started looking into it a little bit more, and a lot of information I feel like I was being fed didn't make sense. It just didn't make sense to me. And all the fucking bullshit I was hearing, I was like, man, this just doesn't make sense. And so I started looking it up myself and started finding out why it doesn't make sense. And I think that you guys have always heard that thing from people: don't talk politics and don't talk religion, because it's the one thing that you might not ever agree with. Well, see, I'm okay with that though. Like, you don't have to agree with me. I don't have to agree with you. Like, if I say I believe in God and Jesus Christ, and you say you believe in a rock or something, I don't know, whatever, I don't care. Like, I don't give a shit. More power to you. Good luck. May God be with you. I don't know. I don't think like that. I don't really care, but I know a lot of people try to stay away from it because they know it creates big controversy. And I feel like a lot of people are hiding the way they feel because they're scared of the backlash. I'm not scared of the backlash. I think with people doing videos saying the Umnumzun is the only knife they need, or their bug out knife, it has made it appealing. People are hunting for their apocalypse folder. I'm still hunting for that perfect knife. Like, I feel like I've gotten to try so many knives, but I still feel like I'm damn close. Like, I'm damn close. And then I wonder in the back of my head, does it even exist? Right? Does that knife even fucking exist? Or have I already felt it 100 times? And even if it was in my hand, and I'm talking about the perfect knife for you, right? Like, let's say It's the XM24. Would I even know it if I felt it? I feel like I would. Like deep down, I think in my head, like, of course I would know it because I'm looking for this, 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 and this. But then I wonder in my head, like, would I really? Because I feel like I felt such amazing knives. I'll tell you one thing. This thing is getting a damn good review. This Shuro, this thing is so amazing. I can't. It's so awesome. One, the blade geometry, the cutting ability. I love it. It still has a factory edge. I haven't sharpened it. I was cutting up some cardboard the other day. The ergos are just so good on it and so comfortable. It's crazy. I would love to feel one of these in just plain tie, or even this. This is great. This is that. It's like white micarta. I'm sorry, white carbon fiber, and it is so comfortable, and it's got a little. It's got some texture to it, so it's so nice in the hand. Just the thickness, the depth. Now it's a little big though for most people. A lot of people would probably rather this, right? This is the Hadian Shurogura, but it's so much smaller, and that's why people would probably like it because this is big. And let's see, this is the 24. It's almost the size of the XM24, and everybody knows this is a big damn knife. But it's nowhere near as heavy. It's way more lighter. It's way more like just, I don't know, wieldy. But this one is way more EDCable. But it's thin. And it feels kind of like, you know, the Kershaw Leak or the ZTO 450. Kind of feels like that. Where I love it. I mean, this thing is amazing. Amazing knife. But when it comes to holding on to a knife and using it, hands down, this thing takes the cake. I mean, this is an amazing knife. I'm going to wait for that video, but watch that video and I will explain all the details of that knife. It is a damn good knife. Compare and contrast Shuros. I need to know. Want to buy one. Well, I'll tell you what, after I'm done with the review, lay it in the pants. If you want to check it out, I will send it your way because this was a gift. I can let you check it out. This one's not a gift. This one's the Shadow Mantons, but amazing knives, man. Shuros are really good. My biggest thing is and it's not even a thing. It's just they kind of look plain, right? I don't know. They're done so good, but they're so plain, if that makes sense. But I like plain, though. I'm the type of person that can look at it and I'm impressed because there's nothing exploding, right? It's good because it's good, not because of, I don't know, because there's like a whole bunch of parts and pieces. It's just a plain good knife. I don't know. I like it a lot. You know who else likes planes? What? No ducking way. I'm confused. All right. Let me keep reading. Right tool for the job. Not all cutting needs are the same, so they can't be the one. Yeah, but I'm talking about just like that one, like you get it. Fine, cut that one quick, huh? All right, I want to continue talking about what I was saying while I started buffering because I was actually going to talk about something. I'm going to come right back to whoever said that comment. Thin knives are great in the pocket, but not always in hand. More filling contoured handles are the best for using. Yes, and that's the thing is that a knife might carry so good and be amazing to carry, but then you take. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what the heck keeps happening. YouTube contacted me and said something about The app keeps closing, asked me if I wanted to close it down, so I closed it down. So hopefully we're good from here. We should be good. Now, what I was talking about was sometimes, and I know I'm back on comments, but sometimes knives are really thin in the pocket and they feel so good to carry, and they might be a thin grind and cut really good because they're a thin grind. But then you'll have another knife that cuts so good because it's comfortable in your hand. The grind might even be a little bit thicker, but it cuts better because of leverage. I actually did a video about that, how leverage is so important. Because like one knife could have the best blade geometry, but it's thin in the hand, so you don't get the good leverage behind it. And another knife will just have good leverage, so it feels like it cuts so much better because you have a full grip. Now, I want to go back and say something what somebody said about the perfect knife. Okay, now I know there is a million different things you do with your knife. You're not always doing the same thing. So I'm not meaning perfect like there's nothing it can't do. I don't mean that. I mean the perfect knife for you. Like, say, if I'm looking for a knife that has one form of deployment, and I'm not saying this is what I'm looking for, I'm just saying, like, if I want perfect ergos, a good sharpening choils, a drop point blade with a full hollow grind from the top of the spine down, with great access to the lock bar, a deep carry clip that's a milled spring clip. You know, like if it can hit all those corners of something I want in the price range I can afford. You know, like something like that. But then I think about, what about the knife that hits all the little corners? So like, I want a knife that carries good. So it might carry like a knife kind of like these, but give you the ergos of a knife like this, you know, and have the blade geometry of a knife like this, and has the action of, you know, a knife like this. You know, like, just, I don't know, like, what I'm trying to say is that it can do the hard use things, the light duty things, the fine detail things, has the blade shape to do multiple things. So you're not just limited to a big bellied knife. You have a point of a tip that you can use. You have a straight spot for push cuts, you know, and you know how you carry two knives? I don't know if you do, whoever's watching, but you know how sometimes you carry two knives because you might not know what you're going to run into. And you might want your bigger knife, the little bit harder use knife, just in case if you run in and you have to cut up something harder, you know, something strong or something that takes a little more pressure and effort. And then you might have like a little slip joint at the bottom of your pocket just in case you need to pick something out of your nail or, you know, cut a string or something. Finding a knife that does all of that in one. That's nice. What's up, Shaker? Okay, we can start the party now. It's about damn time. We've been sitting here waiting for you. Fuck, we've already talked knives and politics, religion. We've been down the damn rabbit hole in this one. But I have done 5 once or twice. There you go. I know I used to carry 3. I usually carry 2, but I'm finding, like when I go to work, I carry 2 because sometimes I need to. But I'm finding that I'm wanting to carry one knife. Like I'm really looking for that knife that does everything I need it to do in one. And I'll tell you what, the damn Mannix is very close to that. This is a good knife to carry one knife. Like I can do fine, you know, things with this type of geometry and hard things. I like that it's like the happy medium, and it's not small, it's not big. Now its big brother is a little big. That's what I carried today. That's what I did that video. Well, I'm not done with the video, but I started filming that video, the day in the life of a knife. That's going to be a cool video. I hope you guys watch that. Do you have a knife you are chicken to because you don't want to ruin it? Yes, I do. Yeah, that's called a safe queen. We have a safe queen. Technically, I don't have any safe queens. Kara has one safe queen. My closest thing to a safe queen, it's not really a safe queen. I got it from Kara, but it's just kind of expensive, and they only made 100 of them, and that's the Tuya Envy, and they only made 100 of them, so I can't get another one. And I have the Tuya Envy 2, which is a better version of it, and so that's that's my closest thing. Kara's is the one Scott Big Bore Knife and Gear gave her. Also, thank you to everybody who helped support Scott last week. He wanted to thank all of you. I've already gave him the money. I appreciate it. We raised almost $160 last week for him. Thank you guys. He's been really limited. He hasn't been able to work, and because of COVID and a bunch of other shit. So, and he's always helping everybody else out. So it was nice getting to help him out a little bit. Breeze, I rarely carry my large Spencer 31. Why? Because it's expensive, or because it scratches? Because I see, because some people love to beat on their Sabenzas because it is a work knife. It really is. That is a great work knife. Anybody who says different is just out of their mind. That is a beautiful work knife. It's strong, it's tough, great blade geometry, great type of grind, perfect for sharpening, so it can take a lot of edges. But the one downfall to it, which I don't think is that big of a downfall, but it scratches really easily. Snail trails. But you can always send it in to get a spa treatment, and I don't know how much they cost. What are they, like 150? I don't know how much they are. I think they cost money though, but you can send them in and they'll re-blast them and stuff like that. Does anybody know how much a spa treatment from Chris Reeve costs? If by use you mean open and close while I watch TV, I use all my knives. Yeah, there's some knives I definitely use harder than others, and some I use, but I don't, use them like I'll use another knife because obviously, right? Like if I had to do something hard with a knife, why would I grab certain knives when I can grab certain knives, if you know what I mean? But then I feel like I'm going to enjoy the knife that I buy, right? I want to. The reason why I spent the money on this knife, or the reason why I've always wanted to use the knife, was to enjoy using it. So I find enjoyment from using my knives. Those little snail trails, those little dings, those scratches. Once you actually scratch your knife, that's when you start enjoying it. I honestly feel like that. So you'll have a knife and it'll be pristine. Once you get that scratch on it and you say, fuck it, and you don't care about the scratches no more, that's when you actually begin to enjoy that knife. You will not enjoy it. I mean, I know you think like, oh yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm sitting on my couch. You're enjoying it. I understand. You really are. And you're enjoying like the fit, the finish, getting to check it out and experience it. Put some scratches on it. You will begin to enjoy it so much more. You won't care. You'll be willing to toss it on the table, throw it in the pocket, pull it up, cut up whatever, sharpen it. And then that's when it's kind of like having a horse, right? You go out in the field, you feed them, you pet them, you play with them, you brush them, but you've never gotten on that motherfucker. Once you get on him and you saddle up, you're going to enjoy that horse way more than if you just petted him. I don't have a large collection or a lot of expendable income at the moment, but I probably will send something your way eventually. That was to you, Lindy Lou. Uh, yes, I reviewed Shaker MT's Groot. I was actually talking about it a little bit ago. And several other of my high-end knives, and yeah, I carry and use them all. Well, yeah, so Shaker MT is a trucker. He's on the road 24/7, and he uses all his knives, and he has absolute grail knives. What most people would safe queen, 100%. Most people, they wouldn't fucking use them, but he uses them, and I respect that, man. When he sent me his knives, he said use them. Not one knife did he say, not even the Groot. And I honestly, I didn't use the Groot because I felt like that it was in so much pristine condition that I couldn't do it. You know, it's kind of like that scratch thing, like let him put the first scratches on it. But he never gave me rules or anything like that. He said, fucking use them. And he said, I use all my knives, use them. I sharpen them, I use them, and I got to do proper reviews on them. And yeah, that's awesome. But you know what, though? He enjoys his knives. I'll give him that. He enjoys his damn knives, which is awesome. And yeah, that Groot, that was a badass knife. I was talking about it earlier when I was talking about, because I got the SNG and the SNF. I was talking about these, and I was talking about the ergos with the PT. You know, the little guy. And I was saying the differences in the ergos. And I was saying how comfortable those custom ones are. Like compared to this one, I think this one's great. But I feel like it's starting to get on that verge where right here is getting a little big. Because your hand goes from bigger to smaller. So going from smaller to bigger, it can feel good in the hand to a certain point. But then once it starts getting too big, it, you know, I don't know. But the custom ones, they seemed like they were perfect. I've gotten to try out 2 customs, and those are really nice. Right. Knives are tools. Some of them are art pieces, but in that case, I think you're pretty much buying it for an art piece. But yes, in my opinion, knives are tools. Some are meant to be used in different ways. Some are meant to be used harder than others. But they're all meant to cut. You technically could use your knife and not fuck it up. It's really easy. Even like Metal Complex was talking about the other day. He said, if I only cut paper, I'm still using my knife. And that's true. So you can still enjoy your knife and cut things that won't scratch or hurt your knife. Serrated edges are underrated. VEF serrations are underrated. VEF serrations, if anybody likes serrations, try VEF. Because VEF serrations take serrations to a whole nother level. There's serrations that are sideways. So they're like cut like that. So everything you go towards, the teeth are aiming at it. And I remember one day I was cutting straps all day at work, and I had a VEF serrated knife. I couldn't believe the cutting performance that came out of it. And it wasn't that hard to sharpen either. Damn, those Red Bulls are good. The HBM ordering will be engraved by master engraver Julian Marshall. That's amazing. Carbs are life. Can't trust someone who doesn't like bagels. Carbs are life. I'm not a fan of serrations. They're great for cutting bread, but I prefer plain edges. I prefer plain edges too, but I respect serrations because there's certain things, like let's put it this way. If you were cutting rope every day, all day, or say certain straps, and you had to do it fast, like the types of straps or whatever you're cutting, you don't have time to fuck with. You need to get behind it and pop it. You're gonna want some good sharp serrations. There are certain times where serrations are way better than a plain edge. Now you could say, I'll just sharpen my knife to a very aggressive edge. Yeah, you could do that, but it's still not going to bite like a serrated edge. And a serrated edge will keep going too all day. Yeah, once they're once they're dull, and it's going to take a lot more effort to sharpen them. But that's my biggest problem with them is you can sharpen them like a lot of people don't know this. I did a video on it, but serrated edges, you don't sharpen them like this with a file. You just flip them over and you sharpen the backside for the first few sharpenings. Once you've done that a bunch of times, then yes, then you gotta turn around, you gotta get the diamond file and sharpen each notch, kind of like a chainsaw or whatever. It just keeps doing this, guys. I'm sorry. All right, we will end it here in just a few minutes. But what I was saying was that you can get about 4, depending on how bad you make them, 3 to 4 good sharpenings out of your serrations before they really go bad. I've lost 80 pounds though. Holy shit, you lost a whole person, Russ. Okay, go bread, honey buns, cinnamon rolls, and donuts. That's your diet. I like the VEF serrations. They are just so deep if you use them every day. Blade will become thicker at the edge and much quicker than a plain edge when sharpening. Yeah, I think I understand what you're saying. They are just so deep if you use them every day. The blade will become thicker at the edge much quicker than a plain edge when sharpening. Yeah, and they're the way they're sharpened, it's not really a hollow, but it's putting another bevel. It's a serration. It's putting another bevel, so you can get a lot of sharpenings out of serrations if you know how to sharpen them before having to replace the serrations. Because you are removing 50%